President, despite the security crisis and the international situation, the Burkina Be economy is doing well with a 1.5% increase in economic growth rate in 2024. We know that the improvement in the security situation has played a major role, but so have agriculture and the services sector. What is the government doing right now to allow the national economy to keep up this momentum?
All right, thank you. We can see that these are macroeconomic figures. We are aware of this and we constantly review the situation with the Minister of Finance. Efforts are being made. It's true that there are areas that have been secured which allow us to produce. And so agricultural production has increased significantly, which allows for processing at the level of the small units we have, but also for exporting the surplus of certain products. So this contributes greatly to the trade balance. There is also the issue of mining itself. So there are a number of mines that had stopped operating, if you remember. Some in 2020, others even in 2018, but they have also resumed operations. And all of these contributes to that growth. And we are continuing in this direction. And currently, if you look at the mining sector, for example, the government's approach is to exploit our gold ourselves. So there are mines that we have just taken control of, and we will continue to gradually regain control, to co-exploit with the companies that are already there. Because what was the rule? Someone comes, gets the permit, exploits it, 10% goes to the government, and the rest is for them. And by the way, we have no control over that 10%. So right now, we are really taking back control to make sure we know what is coming out of our subsoil. They also take a significant share. So all of this contributes to economic growth, especially considering the initiatives we've launched in the agricultural sector. Many other ventures have been financed, and in any case, this allows for solid growth. But for me, the most important thing is that when the Minister of Finance often brings the figures, I say, well, that's all very good, but I send someone to the market. You see, that's what we call an empamore. How much does a can of corn cost? How much does a can of millet cost? I gather the information, and if the cost has gone down, we know there's an impact on the population. That's what's most important. So we do this work constantly, and even the intelligence services are involved so that we don't just announce a macroeconomic figure showing 1.5% growth that has no impact, especially on the most vulnerable groups. So we will continue this progress, God willing.
This is not the language of technocrats. This is the language of a leader who understands that an economy is not numbers, it's people. Listen carefully. Traore is redefining what progress means for Africa. He's saying growth without impact is an illusion. While the West measures prosperity in GDP, he measures it in the cost of millet in whether a mother in Kaya or Kudugu can afford her child's next meal. That is revolutionary economics, because it brings dignity back to the center of development. He says, when the Minister of Finance brings me statistics, I send someone to the market. That single sentence is worth more than every IMF report ever written on Africa. This is leadership that checks reality, not PowerPoint. It's governance rooted in the soil, not in spreadsheets. And look at the model he's building. Reclaiming mines so that gold benefits the nation, not foreign shareholders. Expanding agriculture so that Burkina can feed itself and export surplus. Stabilizing security zones so that farmers can plant again and industries can breathe. He is quietly proving that Africa doesn't need pity, it needs power over its own production. In a continent where leaders wait for IMF approval, Traore waits for market feedback. That's the difference between an imported democracy and a living one. And when he says we must ensure that growth reaches the most vulnerable, he's declaring a new standard. That development must touch the hungry, not just the headlines. This is what we call the Burkina Be economic doctrine. An economy that feeds its people before it feeds its statistics. This is not Western capitalism. This is African realism, growth measured in stomachs, not slideshows. And when he ends by saying, we'll continue this progress, God willing, it's not rhetoric, it's a covenant. A promise between a leader and his people that no number will mean success unless every Burkina Be feels it. This is what happens when a soldier governs with conscience. Burkina Faso isn't chasing recognition, it's building redemption.